The mysterious, masterminded life of Mickey Mase. How a thrill-seeking, high-stakes gambling addict outsmarted Las Vegas and paid the price.
I figured out how they cheated and I reverse engineered it. I'd go for one session and win $3 million net profit. And I'd come back and I'd win $5 million.
Mickey Mase, a name that's becoming synonymous with gambling greatness, didn't start off with a golden ticket. How did he go from grit to greatness? Born on October 27th, 1991, in the heart of New Jersey, Michael David Maiterman, known to the world as Mickey Mase, had a tumultuous start. Raised in a family with a notorious gambling streak, Mickey's parents tried to take a different path, except for his dad, a street racer who loved the thrill of speed.
I used to actually low-key blame my dad. I was a baby, my brain was still developing, and you put me on a dirt bike and I'm sending it and doing crazy things. I began to develop a thought that was this is the only way to live.
This adrenaline-fueled lifestyle seeped into Mickey's veins, and by the age of 5, he was already knee-deep in casino games like Gin Rummy and Texas Hold'em. Mickey's troublemaking tendencies forced him down a dangerous path. Mickey's childhood wasn't cushy. Despite the family's wealth, his dad's organized crime ties and prison time cast a long shadow. By his teenage years, Mickey was a notorious troublemaker. His high school days were wild. He was popular and always causing chaos. Despite his straight A's, he got expelled several times for fighting and throwing chairs at teachers, leading to his first stint in juvenile prison. Life behind bars was harsh, but it was here that Mickey honed his street smarts. His time in juvie was a turning point, forcing him to reflect on his life choices. Upon release, he plunged into the gritty world of pool hustling, sharpening his skills. This is where he learned the art of reading people, a skill that would prove invaluable in the casinos. When drugs entered Mickey's life, he began his wildest ride so far that saw his life crumble in front of his eyes. Growing up in a chaotic environment, surrounded by drug culture, he was no stranger to drugs and their addictive tendencies. Then, as the intense highs and lows of gambling started to feel the same, he started to dabble in something new: substances.
My brain kept telling me that crime was okay, that using drugs and alcohol was okay, that all of these ways I acted and behaved were always okay.
In his teens, Mickey's drug use ramped up. He started to experiment with all kinds of drugs, and his all-or-nothing attitude quickly led to deep addiction, always chasing the next high, not only through gambling, but now drugs. This drove Mickey to hit the lowest point in his life. Mickey went broke, became homeless, and couldn't afford to feed himself. A friend took him in, offering a place to stay with a catch. He had to work at the friend's tattoo shop, cleaning floors and toilets without pay. This was truly his rock bottom, where every step was a struggle for survival.
My buddy put me up for free. He's like, you're gonna stay in my house. I'm gonna help try to get your life together. You have no money, you have no resources. All you are is a burden in my life. So you're gonna work at my friend's tattoo shop. You're gonna mop the floors, scrub the toilets. You're not gonna get paid, but in return, you can live in my house for free. The only way I was surviving at the time was through handouts.
He moved to Washington Heights, living in a makeshift shelter with Shorty, someone who had robbed him weeks earlier. Despite their rocky start, they shared a hidden spot in Highbridge Park, camouflaging their shelter with a blue tarp as families strolled by, unaware. Living in the park was rough, and he had to turn to a life of crime to sustain himself each day. It was all about hustling and sometimes strong-arm robberies. The area was full of stick-up boys, making it almost impossible to scrape together enough to get by. With no aspirations or direction, drugs were his only escape. His go-to? Opiates and blow.
Just hustling, strong arm robberies. There was a lot of stick-up boys around that area.
But after years of self-destruction, Mickey had enough and sought a different path. Mickey's transformation from homeless drug addict to gambling legend.
I had been attempting to straighten out for a while. So exactly what it was is that I cleaned my life up.
Things changed when he was introduced to Sean Dolan, a landlord with a big heart. Sean offered him $100 to paint a house. One job led to another, and soon he was learning everything from demolition to installing toilets. At his new job, he noticed his peers flaunting luxury cars and designer clothes. They weren't smarter, they just worked smarter. While he labored as a behavioral health tech, they networked and strategized. He quickly learned that the key to success was using his brain, not just his brawn. In 2015, Mickey decided to ditch the booze and drugs and get his life back on track.
I only drink water. I don't do a lot of things, and drinking and drugging is some of the things I don't do.
He stopped using, not by choice, but because his body couldn't take it anymore.
I was homeless when I first got sober, and I just stopped, right? But it really wasn't on my own will. It was just like I just didn't have this spirit in my physical body to even get up and get it.
As he got sober, Mickey quickly realized he had an unparalleled ability to read the room and an uncanny knack for numbers. So he started putting these skills to use across the games he grew up playing. Blackjack, poker, Baccarat, you name it, Mickey studied and quickly mastered each one. He wasn't just another player. He was the player everyone watched in awe and envy. But what made Mickey Mase so good? He realized it's all about strategy. Mickey isn't just playing the games, he's trying to become the best at them. He studies odds, memorizes patterns, and analyzes every possible outcome. His approach is scientific, almost robotic, but with the heart and intuition of a true hustler. It's this lethal combination that keeps him ahead of the game and his competition in the dust. Mickey made a massive breakthrough that got him banned from casinos. According to Mase, he discovered a secret strategy to win at Baccarat, a game many believe is purely luck-based. He claims to have reverse-engineered the game, exploiting the casino's own rules to his advantage.
Give me an example of one way that a casino would cheat an average person playing Baccarat.
I don't want to say.
Why not?
Well, I'm selling it for $50 million. I think the casinos are going to pay me to tell them what it is exactly I figured out they did and how did I reverse engineer it. And they're going to try to prevent it from anyone else knowing.
Though he remains cryptic about his exact methods, Mase hints at observing keynote behaviors and characteristics in cards and using reverse engineering. But with great fortune comes great scrutiny. Mickey soon started raking it in, claiming to have turned $200 into $800,000, $50,000 into a jaw-dropping $6.2 million, and his crown jewel, a colossal $11.5 million win. And he's allegedly got receipts for them all, but claiming big wins doesn't sit well with casinos or critics, who have questioned his methods and sparked rumors that he's too good to be true. Mickey has faced accusations of using shady tactics to win. Some people believe he's involved in edge sorting, a technique in which players spot irregularities on the back of cards to gain an advantage, similar to the controversy involving poker legend Phil Ivey. People doubted that Mickey's wins were purely due to luck, suspecting he manipulated the system. Eventually, casinos caught on to his tricks and banned him from the Las Vegas hotspots. They weren't thrilled with his consistent wins and reminded him the house always wins.
She goes, yeah, you can't do that or we're gonna have to ask you to leave our property. And I said, are you out of your mind? I have 7 million sitting right here. What are you talking about? So they will do anything they can to throw me off and throw me through a loop and just mess with the situation.
Mickey claims they pulled some shady moves, complicating his financial game even more. As his fame skyrocketed, so did rumors about his wealth. Estimates of his net worth range from $8.5 million to a staggering $43.5 million, but most people don't believe those numbers. Allegedly, Mickey's real fortune hasn't come from inside a casino, but in the pharmaceuticals business, and not the one you might think of. Mickey found his real rise when he started working on renovation projects at a rehabilitation center. With his background as a former drug addict, he leveraged his experience and new construction skills to open his own rehab center. Mickey expanded rapidly, building a network of pharmacies, rehab centers, and clinical labs. But a deep dive into official business databases and news sources comes up empty. No records, no sign of him founding or owning any pharmaceutical company. Some people think this whole pharmaceutical connection might be a ruse, crafted to enhance his image of wealth and multi-industry success. In the end, until concrete proof surfaces, Mickey's ties to the pharmaceutical world remain questionable at best. Despite the speculation and rumors about his wealth, Mickey revealed his casino record just to show proof of his casino winnings and verified net worth of $32 million.
Therefore, your estimated win at the Venetian Resort for the year 2021 is $10,080,630.
Yo, there's so many digits.
So many zeros.
But Mickey's troubles with the law eventually caught up with him. On March 31st at around 10:30 p.m. in Chatsworth, Los Angeles, residents heard gunshots and called the cops. LAPD swarmed in, finding Mickey at the scene of the crime, along with 3 other guys. Mickey and his friends were quickly detained by armed officers near Santa Susana Pass State Historic Park. The police questioned what they were doing around that area and where the gunshots came from. Mickey claimed they were on a public walkway, mentioned seeing a firework earlier, and insisted it's not a crime to walk on a public walkway. After further investigations and the police failing to find evidence of a crime, Mickey was soon released. No charges, no evidence. Just another night of chaos for Mickey Mase. What's next for Mickey, and is he a fraud? These days, Mickey's living it up. After getting banned from Vegas, he moved to Los Angeles and started exploring exotic offshore gambling spots. He's built up a massive presence on social media as Dirty Goth Boy, living a rock star life filled with wild parties, jet-setting adventures, and high-profile connections. His feed is a highlight reel of a life most can only dream of. While many still think Mickey is a scammer, there is no evidence that supports the claims, and he's provided receipts for his big wins. Despite all the rumors, he's allegedly still crushing the gambling scene, raking in cash with his Baccarat skills and high-stakes bets.